Welcome back to my channel and also to my Instagram. I decided to go ahead and post this on both areas, social media. So today I want you to be very comfortable. Get your tea, get your chips, your Cheetos, and let's sit down and have a chat because there is a lot of tea that Ray is going to be dishing and talking about. First of all, I hope that everybody out there that is tuning in is doing well. I hope that you are enjoying your time right now in quarantine and finding ways to stay active and healthy from your mind, body, and spirit. Lord knows that this has been going on for too long already. I know that I'm anxious and ready to get back to some sense of normality. I know a lot of you are. I hope you like my pendant here. I have my little wolf. I'll hold it up closer, get closer. Can you see that? It's a little white wolf. It's carved from my jeweler, who is, her name is Laura, and she's from Canada, from British Columbia. Shout out to British Columbia. And her shop on Instagram is at Callisto Jewelry. That's Callisto, and then jewelry. It's all one word. And check her out. She has an auction every Thursday. Well, every other Thursday. I don't know. Just every kind of be on the lookout. Turn post notifications on so you can see that. So a lot has been going on in the world. I have to tell you that I watched CNN the other day and I was looking at it on 2 minutes, just 2 minutes of the news, and I had to turn it off because it was horrible. It was horrible. The lies, the narrative, the fabrication of the narratives that they're spinning, talking about, the CDC and how the CDC has predicted that the second wave of coronavirus is going to be worse than the first. I mean, that's like, duh. But, they were like, it's going to be in the early winter. And they have been wrong about so many things since the beginning of this outbreak, this pandemic, from letting people go after diagnosing them and letting them go after the third test before they actually got the results back, and unleashing into the population people that were infected with the virus and actually were carriers of it. There's just so many things that they have not taken accountability for, but that is the CDC. And so I was watching that, and I was like, this is ridiculous, the projections and the fear-mongering that is going on. Now, the virus is very real. It's not made up. I know a lot of people out there that are skeptics or like conspiracy theorists. They are saying that the virus is made up, but it's not made up. Is 5G, a factor in that? I've already said yes, but the virus is very real, and it was created out of Wuhan, out of that lab. It was there. A lot of things that I've said in my first video a long time ago, when I first did the coronavirus video, when we had first found out, like I think it was like in February when I did it, a lot of stuff has come to pass. Everything from it affecting certain blood types to things that I mentioned about the virus actually affecting, like I said, certain blood types, and it's spreading through the ventilation system in the New York City area, hence why New York City and Italy probably were hot spots. A lot of that was traveling through ventilation and the virus itself. I also said that it was lab created, and there was just, the list goes on and on and on. But I'm very, I'm not surprised, because Spirit knows the truth and knows things that we don't possibly know. So it was very interesting to read all of that and see that as well. But I do feel like we already are seeing kind of like the numbers going down, kind of the curve flattening or bending the curve, whatever you want to call it, whatever the terminology is. I do feel like by July, certain areas won't be using masks, but some people will still do it as a personal choice because of fear that is lingering and vibrating. Now, the level of craziness, I don't know if any of you have been experiencing this with people that friends, but there's been like a certain level of craziness that my friend Megan and myself, we've been discussing and actually experiencing from a lot of people. I do feel like if you're a light worker out there, you're going to be experiencing over the next 2 months a lot of low vibing people and situations like that. For example, I've had someone that paid for a reading and they wanted me to read them, but I refunded them for the reading, and they were very insistent to know why. Now, first of all, I don't owe anyone an explanation as to why. If I refunded you your money and I'm not doing the reading, obviously, I do it in a very respectful manner. A lot of people that come to me with bad intentions, that are sent to me, I should say, because I have people that are sent to me, and I'm not going to go into it, for bad intentions that they have. They're energy vampires. So I guess like what I'm trying to say is a lot of people are going to be like that are light workers are going to be experiencing a wave of energy vampires that are very unstable, very very low level vibrations in human form. They are other human beings that are energy vampires, and they are losing it. Essentially, they're in this low vibration 3D mentality. They cannot elevate their consciousness. They can't, feel at peace in their soul. So what they're doing is they're kind of taking that out on whoever is around them, or whoever they can try to do that. The whole thing here is that you need to be strong of mind. Energy vampires don't always attack your energy source and deplete you in the way that you would think, which is like just being around them. Sometimes they will use words and language to intimidate you. Like a classic narcissist, they will use that. They will use negativity, and they will just use kind of like reverse psychology and play the victim, and they're not anything but the victim. But luckily, I always trust my spirit guides. When my spirit guides tell me not to read a certain person, I always listen to my spirit guides. And some people have problems with that. They don't like the fact that spirit is always protecting me and always having my back and always shielding me and protecting me from who to read and who not to read. Now, there are several reasons why I don't read certain people. One would be if a person has a demonic attachment. That is not in my area of expertise. That is not in my area of to help someone that has that. I will refer them to somebody that I know that could possibly help them, or a demonologist, or someone of that nature. Then I have people that are very just low-level energies and very negative, and they're coming to me not necessarily because they want insight, but because they want to feed. And energy vampires sometimes do this subconsciously without knowing. They're intrigued to know exactly what I see or what some other psychic sees for them, and that's why they seek them out, essentially drawing energy from them. So these are things that I've learned from in the past, and I've learned from trial and error, that whenever I've had a gut instinct to not read someone, and I don't even need their photograph to even know what their energy is like, just by the way that they communicate with me, I already know, and I hear my spirit guides, so they're like, no, don't read that person. Well, this person got refunded, and then they were like, you're not an authentic healer, you're a scammer, blah, blah, blah. Just very low negative energy, just something that I already knew. But sometimes you have to kind of play the game a little bit with them and interact with them, even though you don't want to. And eventually they're going to unmask themselves and show their true nature. And that's the classic example of an energy vampire / narcissist. When they're not able to get their way, they're going to throw it on you and start projecting their damage, their trauma, their low vibes on you. But you have to stay strong. See, a lot of the energy vampires have already discovered that they know how to get to certain people that are very good-hearted, or they're light workers. They don't always do this through magic or through interactions, but it's actually the things that they say. And then some people that are light workers may be very strong, but then on some level they're thrown into the loop of a guilt trip, and they start thinking up here, oh my God, maybe I don't want to, I have a good heart, I don't want to make them feel a certain way, or ruin my reputation because of what someone else is, what someone else feels about me, so maybe, I should just do it. And in giving in and succumbing to that energy and not honoring your spirit and honoring yourself, you are really just taking on that vibration, and it's going to affect you. And then eventually that person that wants the reading, they're not going to resonate with that reading regardless if you did it for it. Like, that's the thing that spirit told me very clearly. They were like, if you do this reading for this person, it doesn't matter how accurate you are, they're not going to let you know that you're accurate. They're going to, shift everything around, and they're going to turn it around and say that you were just not accurate, blah 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 blah. So that's the reason that I chose not to read this person, because spirit, and I know that they'll probably be watching this, because I have a lot of stalkers that watch my channel, watch my every move, and it's very unfortunate. I have another stalker who was refunded. They wanted me to meet up at a hotel with them, and in Dallas, and they were from Florida coming to Dallas, wanted me to meet up with them there to do a reading. And I was like, no, I do my readings all online, I don't travel to do readings in person. And it's why specifically a certain hotel, why specifically at a certain time. They wanted me to kind of go into their territory. I don't know exactly what they were planning. Yes, even though I'm psychic, I don't know everything. And so it was just a very stalkerish, and I kept receiving a lot of harassing emails from this person, who I don't even know, but they were refunded for their money. And that's the whole thing of a classic energy vampire. They never take any accountability. They're always play the victim. And so you just have to cut those people out. I've kind of learned to stand my ground, and like I said, I won't tolerate any foolery. And so the only reason that I'm bringing this up is for a lot of you out there that are going through similar situations right now. You maybe can relate to this and know that the people are acting crazy. It's part of the 5D technology that is out there. It's part of the hysteria created by this pandemic. It is essentially making a lot of people crazy, and I mean like psycho, like crazy. You're going to see people walking down the street naked. You're going to see people getting into fist fights, getting into physical altercations. You're going to see people vandalizing properties and things like that, businesses. There's just a whole bunch of stuff that you haven't seen. And the year hasn't even finished yet. We're just in the 4th month. So I'm not saying this to scare you, but to create an awareness. Be aware as some of you start going back into your environments and start kind of going back to your places that you normally used to frequent. Be careful, because even though there's like certain places that have the tapes that are 6 feet apart and tell you where to designate, where to stand, there's still a lot of negativity that is lingering there in those crowds in grocery stores and etc. And a lot of people that are listening to this can attest that. Maybe when you go to the grocery store, I've been seeing a lot of people comment on Facebook groups about the pandemic and whatnot, that and personal people that I know, just that some workers at stores are frustrated and they're rude and etc. But you kind of have to understand is that don't take anything personal when they're doing that, if they're like that, because a lot of the workers in stores are extremely exhausted. They probably have wanted to quit. Some of them have quit already because it was just too much physical. It's exhausting physically. The hours they're having to put in, the things that they're having to deal with hoarders going and buying things that, and just, it's crazy. And then we're going to get into the topic now of the stimulus check, the monies, what it's all of that. A lot of people are still pending. I know I'm still pending. A lot of people are still pending their stimulus check. They have not received the first one yet, and businesses that are small businesses did not receive the loans. So I believe the House is working on getting more money allocated and pushed towards hospitals, small businesses, and some other areas. But there's a lot of questions whether or not we are going to see like $2,000 a month for the rest of the year. I honestly don't feel like that's going to happen, but it possibly could. I don't want to discount that, but that's very unrealistic, the expectation. I don't feel like that's the area or the way that government wants to do. The one thing that I did want to talk about is like when I tune into the collective, when I talk about the collective, I'm talking about everybody as, human souls here on earth. The vibration specifically here in America, I can't talk for other countries, but here in America is a lot of people they fall in several categories. One, they don't want to go back to work because they're afraid of infecting or, being a carrier and then hurting someone in their family with that virus. Or B, a lot of people are not wanting to go back to work because they despise their jobs from the very beginning, and now that some jobs are reopening, they don't want to go back because they rather be in unemployment. Some people will like to milk the unemployment for as long as they want because of the fact that, and these are just true facts, you may not like that I'm saying them, but like I said here on my channel and on all my social media platform, I keep it as real as possible. And if you don't like it, you can click off of the video right now. But I'm going to tell you the tea. A lot of people milk the system, and they know what they're doing, and they don't want to go back to work, not for fear of catching the coronavirus, but because they are lazy. And they don't want to go back to work because of that. So you have 3 different set of categories of people. Then you have people that are disabled and that should have gotten their checks that we should have been the first people to get their checks. And then, of course, people with family and children. And there's a lot of families that one partner got a check, the other partner didn't. So, like I said, a lot of this is going to linger into May, June, and July. It's not organized by any means. You need to be very patient. And as I've stated before, don't give someone, don't be focused. I know there's a lot of fear right now about getting the money, that there's a lot of need for it, but don't let that overtake your whole day and ruin your day every day, because that mindset is a very low vibration, and then you're not going to feel very comfortable. It affects you in more ways than you think when you start focusing just on that. So kind of shift your energy and know that those are things that are outside your control. You can't control the government. You can't control certain things, okay? So let it go. Give it to God, give it to Source, and let it go. If it's meant to come to you, it's going to come in a paper check, in the mail, if you qualified. If you don't, if you're on Social Security, or SSI or disability, whatever you call it, you will get that money, but they say apparently at the end of the month, which is crazy to me again, but it is what it is. I know a lot of people in Georgia, they are reopening that state. They're very angry. A lot of doctors, nurses are very dissatisfied because they're having to open up. The cities are opening up and they are busting their butt. But, a lot of different areas that weren't hard hit, like New York, etc., they are not having, like I've had a lot of people that are nurses saying that they don't have a lot of patients, coming in and out. It's very quiet in the emergency rooms, etc. So at the hospital, so you have you have so many different scenarios playing out here in the USA, and it's kind of hard for those doctors and nurses to know, exactly what is going to be the numbers for next month, regarding the spread of the virus. I truly feel like it's going to be okay, essentially, but there may be some cases that are still lingering. But again, like Sylvia Brown said, and a lot of people are not believing what she said, but I am a firm believer. In her prediction that she wrote in her book, I think it was 2007, 2008, whatever, she said that there would be a pulmonary type of virus that would affect the respiratory, upper respiratory, something like that. I am not quoting it per verbatim, but just giving it to you. That it would affect the upper respiratory, and that as soon as it came in, it would be leaving completely. So, yeah, like I said, I really feel like that is the case. And I do feel like by July, we're going to start seeing a lot of things go back kind of to normal. But a lot of people that are, psychics or see insight, they are feeling like it's going to linger until the rest of the year. I feel like we should be cautious for the rest of the year, but I don't see masks being used everywhere after summer ends, like around August, September. I don't see masks being used everywhere. Maybe like in places like New York, etc. I feel like a lot of people will get a little bit back to normal. and there's going to be events and things that they're going to be going back to. So there is going to be like a lot of sense of people kind of balancing that energy and feeling more cohesive as a unit, and kind of feeling like they can breathe again. Okay, but I don't feel like next year, as we get into the flu season, that this virus is going to be worse than the second outbreak. I could be wrong, but like I said, I trust what Spirit gives me. They're saying everything that the CDC, the narrative that's being spun by CNN. I absolutely hate CNN. I don't like their news source at all. All of that is all right. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about was, I had a lot of people talk about the what is the name of that docu-series, Out of the Shadows or whatever, and I looked at it. I actually got to look at it, but apparently it has been taken down off of YouTube for a lot of reasons, which I found that kind of, odd that things like that would be taken down. A lot of this was talking about the CIA, and how essentially a lot of people in the world think that we make our own choices and decisions, but really and truly we've been programmed in so many ways to believe what's on TV. Like things that I've spoken about, things that a lot of my colleagues have spoken about, people that like David, is it Ike? A lot of people have spoken about these things already. So it's not necessarily something new, but it is kind of funny that a lot of this is coming in now, all of a sudden, and as in the form of, of a docu-series, and it features like a former stuntman. I don't remember his name, but I got to see some of it. And then as I was watching it yesterday, 45 minutes into it, the screen went entirely blank. I kid you not, it went blank, and I could no longer see the video. So I clicked off of it on YouTube, and I went back in, and it said the video had been removed. So apparently they are either unlisting the video and making it private, or it's being deleted by YouTube. One of the two things are happening, and I feel like if YouTube is deleting this because of the it's considered a conspiracy theory, etc. I honestly feel like there is a lot of truth into a lot of this that has been spoken about. They talked about the affiliation of the CIA with Disney World, and how Disney World, and I do believe that. I honestly do. I do believe, because a lot of the things that you see with Disney characters, there's a lot of sexual themes and things that are very inappropriate, but they make it almost like on a subliminal level, where people that, children and parents, they see it, they think it's family friendly, but it's not. A lot of it is promoting, sexual themes and perversion, and a lot of it is, just kind of like violence masquerading as something innocent, and it's not. You would be surprised when you really start paying attention to what's out there for Disney, and what Disney represented, and what it is. It has become. It's become the mecca of a lot of people who really like it. I don't want to talk bad about it in front of the camera, because there's certain things that, like I said, I don't want to offend anyone, but it is sort of like certain people have taken it, and it's kind of grown into a cult in many ways. I've seen people change completely, adults change completely, where their whole life is Disney, and things of that nature, which is, there's nothing wrong. There's some people that love Disney, that love Mickey Mouse, they love, Disney World, etc., like that. But I'm talking more about like the movies in specific. A lot of the themes and stuff could be misconstrued, and the music that we listen to, everything, they spoke about things that I've already been aware of for years, and a lot of you that are listening, that are my rays of light, have been aware for years. But I did find it very, very odd on some level, that as I was watching it 45 minutes in, it was like an hour and 20 minutes maybe. I'm not exactly sure, I didn't pay attention to that, but it cut off completely and I couldn't see the rest of it. But there's that, and there's some other documentaries that I'm going to be looking at as well, and maybe I will be commenting on that here on my channel and here on my Instagram. But I just thought, I would take some time today to kind of go over that, and kind of address certain things, and kind of spread some positivity, even though I know that some of the topics that I spoke about may be a little too serious in nature, or kind of depressing for some of you, not wanting to listen to it. But I think it's very, very, very necessary. And then, like I said, when we start getting into other areas of our life right now, a lot of us are kind of like going stir crazy, not wanting to be confined to your walls, or going outside. It's not enough. Some of you want to, go out of town. You want to travel. You want to go shopping in a store. You want to get your hair done, your nails. There's just so much. But I've been entertaining myself finding a lot of videos where, actual videos of people that are, shaving their brother's hair, or their husband's hair. Please put the shears down if you're not experienced. Do not attempt to cut your hair, and do it yourself, or have somebody that doesn't know how to use shears. Remember, you go up and then out, which is very hard to do that for yourself, if you're doing it yourself. I guess if you hold the machine, the shaver, the clippers a certain way from the back, you could do it. I tried it on my hair, and I was lucky that right before they went into lockdown, I got to get a hairdresser to fix it that day. So I was very lucky, because that night after that, everything was locked down. So I told him to go very short on my sides, and it's not even growing yet. It's like taking forever, but I wanted to have it short, so that way when we get into like June, then I'll be revisiting my hair stylist. Cross fingers. So that is the tea, guys. I have projects that I'm working on right now. Super uber excited to release these, and let you know sometime in the summer, kind of give you a preview of what's coming in the fall, but I can't talk about it for now. So I love you so much. Stay strong, stay rooted in prayer. Pray to Archangel Michael. Make sure that you are lighting a candle. If you can, go outside, use some sea salt or Himalayan salt. Do it like a salt scrub. All of these things. Put yourself first, because it's going to help you in so many ways. I love you so much. Blessings and love and light. Until next time. Bye.